Okay, so now officially, good morning, everyone. On behalf of the entire nexxar team, I would like to welcome you to our webinar, Online First in Practice. My name is Alexandra. I work as a project manager at nexxar, and currently 2 of the 5 projects I manage are Online First implementations. Here with me today is my colleague Fritz Einzinger, also project manager at nexxar and the head of our Online First development unit. Together, we will hold this webinar today and give you more information on the Online First approach and on the practical implementation. Fritz is going to take over a little later and tell you more about our report manager and online CMS. Summarizing our agenda for today's webinar, I would like to start by offering you a few words about nexxar, not too many because most of you know nexxar. Before I explain our idea behind thinking online first, and then I would like to move on to briefly explaining our online first approach once again. And then I would like to tell you more about our most recent online first, or one of our most recent online first implementations, the HHLA, Hamburger Hafen und Logistik AG interim report. Last but not least, my colleague Fritz will take over and tell you more about the nexxar report manager and our online CMS and show you a trial version live on screen. Now, without any further delay, let me start by saying a few words about nexxar. nexxar has been devoted to digital reporting since the founding of the company in 2003. We are more than 30 people located in Vienna, Austria, and our team combines digital natives with reporting experts. So basically, we are concept developers, consultants, project managers, graphic designers, multimedia producers, and web and software developers. Together, we work for more than 30 companies worldwide. Among them, for example, 10 of the 50 largest European companies like Shell, Volkswagen, Eni, Deutsche Post DHL, Metro, etc. And up until now, we have successfully published more than 500 online reports with prize-winning results, which we are very proud of. Summing up our services in 3 steps, we consult, we design, and we develop. Thus, we accompany clients from the very first project idea to the go live of their corporate report. Our clients benefit from our passion for reporting, as well as our experience and know-how when it comes to usability challenges and the usage of digital reports. And in terms of design, we create media-specific solutions for online PDF and print reports, thereby always focusing on orientation and user experience. For us, creating a new design always means a close collaboration between concept design and the developing HTML team. And this ensures that the resulting online report not only looks good, but also meets all web-specific requirements such as search engine optimization, accessibility standards, and responsive design. Looking at our current reporting season, we are happy to offer our services to 36 clients worldwide. Or actually, it's 37 in the meantime, implementing 31 annual reports, online annual reports, and 16 online CR reports. From these, we also produce 4 printed reports and 6 reporting apps. And getting back to our main topic today, already 8 of our clients benefit from our online first approach. But what exactly is online first to us, actually? Let me give you a few examples to explain what thinking online first means to us and why we believe it's the key to successful corporate reporting today. I like to start by telling you what thinking online first does not mean. Basically, it does not mean to only think about the online report. And it also doesn't mean that the online report is the only suitable way to present corporate information online. There are definitely some good examples of web PDFs out there as well. But in the end, both the web PDF and the online report are formats produced for the use on screen. And based on the 2015 Comprehend Capital Market Report, 88% of the capital market stakeholders read the annual report from a screen. And furthermore, the fully digital online report has grown in popularity by 21% in the past 5 years. So this shows not only that the interest for digital reporting increases, but also that the web is the primary source of information for stakeholders. Especially for research, the web has long ago replaced printed material as first point of reference. However, there is still a paradox that needs to be addressed. Today, most people receive report contents on screen, but most of today's reports are still not made for screen. On the contrary, we experience that a lot of companies still follow a print-centric approach. And in a print-led process, everything is set to best fit the outcome for the A4-sized print report. However, this outcome might not always be well suited for a landscape-shaped screen device. Let me give you a few examples on that. We've put something together. I hope you can see it all clearly. So, for example, looking at the imagery of corporate reports, we often find that web PDFs with double-page photos or graphics in them. Here is a mock-up example with a photo of our office in Vienna that shows how double-page content will be divided when the PDF is displayed in a browser window. So what I want to say is, while these double-page images may look very nice in a print report, a lot of companies still make compromises when it comes to displaying the corporate information on screen. But they wouldn't have to. For example, an online report such as the Metro annual report, for example, offers a lot of possibilities to include imagery in a very compelling way. For example, why not use the full screen when the space is available? Of course, this means that the corporate information must be thought and shaped with all report formats in mind from the very beginning. Same thing applies for typography. Here again is a mock-up example with dummy text that shows how a PDF with multiple columns will be displayed in the browser window. And although the short text lines are nice and easy to read and very suitable for a PDF format, the user would still have to scroll up and down in order to read the full text. And again, while this might be a very good layout for a printed report, information needs to be shaped differently for the use on screen, meaning the web PDF and the online report. So here is an example from the Zurich annual review showing how line length and font size are adapted to the needs of landscape-sized screens. Basically, we have a bigger font size here and a lot of space to display the text. And the user just has to scroll down in order to read the full text amount. No scrolling back and forth. Then apart from the visual appearance, a clearly structured navigation is key to presenting the corporate information online in a user-friendly manner. The chosen example shows an understandable combination of top and left-hand navigation, as well as a breadcrumb navigation in the Holcim annual report. It's zoomed in the navigation, so that's why it's so big. The advantages of the online report here are the various options and of arranging and structuring the report content. So you can not only highlight interesting information, but also provide links to related chapters or draw the user's attention to specific content. Summing up, thinking online first basically means to keep in mind all report formats from the very beginning of the reporting process. To create a concept that works on screen and for different reporting formats, we must consider the media-specific requirements and possibilities of the different publication channels. For example, web PDF and online report. Let's move on to explaining our online first approach, or just to a few words about our online first approach. Basically, Online First is a multi-channel publishing approach that provides a more seamless solution for both print and online reporting. It allows for the creation of several report formats from one single source. Starting with the online version, other report formats such as PDF, print, and iPad app are automatically generated from the nexxar CMS. Of course, before it comes to the content implementation, we start off with planning and design, very similar to a traditional print-led approach. But the difference here is, as explained before, we focus on the online experience. So structure, layout, imagery, graphs, and interactive content are all created keeping the different report versions and their use on screen in mind. So once the concept is approved, we start to build the framework within our CMS. And this framework already takes into account the layout and design specifics of all agreed reporting channels. Most of the time, that's a web PDF and an online report. For example, different font selections for online report and PDF are also predefined in this very first framework. So the last step then is the content creation. And again, all report versions are created from one and the same source, the nexxar CMS, which is a huge advantage when it comes to carrying out amendments. So this would be just shortly explained our online first approach. If you have any questions, please remember you can use the chat function, and we will address these questions at the end of the webinar. As mentioned before, already 8 of our clients implement the online first approach. For example, Linde, Merck, and Deutsche Post DHL. And we will now take a closer look at the interim report of HHLA, Hamburger Hafen und Logistik, which is one of our most recent online first implementations. So moving on to our practical example and the question whether it's possible actually to get a high quality PDF from an online CMS. I hope that it is, and I hope we can show you that it is. But let's take a look at the online first report first. So for HHLA, we started with the implementation of the Q3 interim report. Actually, this is a good way to start an online first cooperation because it was a rather small project looking at the amount of the content and therefore the perfect to set up the framework for the PDF implementation. So this report consists of an online report, and actually the interim report was only available as online report and web PDF, while the next report, the annual report, will be there will be a printed version too. Looking at the design of the homepage of this interim report, the initial idea was to create a compass pointing to the north. And this idea was further developed into creating a rotating wheel, which offers various teaser information and links to the online report. So the user can press the play button, so the rotating wheel will automatically start rotating and the background will automatically change. Or one can click directly on the different icons in order to see in order to discover the content. What appears are various teasers with key figures, for example, and some at-a-glance information offering users different entry points into the report. For example, to get directly to the CEO letter, which is marked with a small icon here. Yes, and if you click on it, then you get inside the report. And now inside the online report, as you can see, our goal was to create a very clean and very neat look with a lot of white space and rather big font sizes. The navigation here is again a combination of top and left-hand navigation, including a breadcrumb solution as well as a tool section on the right side of the page. And this tool section, there are some download tools, related links, also last visited pages at a glance, and some sharing icons. All of these elements provide a fast orientation for the user and make it very easy to switch between the different chapters and find information quickly. Going to another content page, a nice effect is revealed when we look at this back and forth arrows in the gray section. When scrolling down, this flat navigation is actually sticky, and back and forth buttons detach from the background to always remain visible for the user. One last thing in the online report before we take a look at the PDF, the content follows a responsive design, which makes the content accessible on smaller screens such as the iPad and iPhone as well. And for the mobile optimized solution, we decided to change the rotating wheel, to reduce the rotating wheel into its different icons only. And so when you click on the icons, you see the different teasers in the iPad, or if you have the mobile phone size, then you can scroll down to see the content that appears. So basically, these are the icons. You can choose in between them, and then you scroll down to see the information, and you can click to get inside the report. Yes, and lastly, I would like to provide you a quick look into the report PDF. So inside the PDF, you can see that we use the same image on the title page. And inside the PDF, we have the key figures on the first part, the first page, and the content section on the second page, including also a QR code with a reference to the online interim report. So that's also a very nice feature. And inside the PDF, we can see that the content was divided in 2 columns in the first section of the report, whereas in the financial note section, we stick to 1 column. And also graphics are implemented as vector graphics. So it makes it possible to zoom in because it's a web PDF, and the user can zoom in without any, without the graphic becoming blurry. One last look in the financial notes section. Yes, so as mentioned, in the first section of the report, we use 2 columns. And in the last section, because it's mostly or only text and tables, we stick to 1 column for better readability. Yes, and so the content and all the elements that you see here were included, actually including the pagination, were automatically generated from the online CMS. And still, it is possible to define different layout and design specifics for the PDF version, such as, for example, different fonts or font sizes, background colors, title and chapter entry pages, or the table of contents. So this is pretty much the HHLA interim report. It's a very short and nice report, but as mentioned, is very good to start off with an online first implementation, and also a good example to show you. If you would like to try out the animation in the online report yourself, we will send you a link to the report together with the link to the webinar recording after the webinar. And now I would like to hand over to my colleague Fritz, who will tell you more about our report manager and online first, and online CMS that we use for our online first implementations. So just a second, let me switch to presenter role.
Yeah, thank you, Alexandra, and a warm welcome to our webinar from my side as well. I would like to show you our report manager now, which is our main tool for the whole report production phase. As this webinar is about the HHLA interim report, I will show you our system by accessing a demo copy of the HHLA interim report. The report manager allows the access to 3 main modules with only 1 login. So I will now log in myself into the report manager. All right, you can now see 3 green buttons in the middle of the page. With those, you can access our content management system here where you can see edit report, our ticket system here where it says manage tickets, or our transfer server where it says share files here. Below those buttons, you have a box with the publication details indicating the go live date, the final report URLs, a link to our production server where the final report will be signed off, and the contact details of your project manager at nexxar. The access to all of these three modules can be restricted in our user rights management system. In this webinar, I will mainly focus on our content management system, but nevertheless, I would like to quickly show you the other two modules as well. I would like to start with the transfer server, which is used for the secure exchange of sensitive report data or just for sending files which are simply too big to be sent via email. So if you click here on transfer server, I'm now in the respective project folder, and here you can easily download or upload files via drag and drop, create separate folders, or share files with colleagues. That's it for the transfer server. I will show you the ticket system a little later and would like to go into our CMS now. So click on the CMS. Yeah. So we are now in our CMS where you can edit the report contents. You can see the report in its current online layout. I'm now in the German version of the report, but with the language switch, I'm now going to the English version. I'll now change to a content page. Okay, and at the top of the page, you can see the administration toolbar, which consists of a few buttons. The first one, the green one, brings you directly into the editing mode of the current page. So I'm now going into the editing mode. Okay, in this mode, you can now edit all the contents of the page. While one person is in this editing mode, no one else can edit this page. So on the right-hand side, you can change page properties. This could be, for example, PDF downloads, which are aligned to this page. This can be last year URLs, or you can also activate special elements like teaser boxes or accordions, which will then be applied to this page. All these things here in this page properties are normally done by us. So for you as a content owner, only the content area is relevant, which can be found on the left-hand side of this window. The text editor is what you see is what you get editor, which means that the editor will display the text in the same way as it will appear on the website in the end. By clicking into the text area, an editor toolbar appears, which is quite similar to what is familiar from common text editors like, for example, Microsoft Word. I would now like to show the most important possibilities which are needed for editing content. At the beginning, it is important to place the cursor wherever you would like to start typing. With Enter, you can insert a new paragraph, which can, for example, be formatted as a headline by using this drop-down here. So I've now inserted a new headline. You can also change text within a paragraph when you go to the place where you would like to start typing, and you can type here whatever you want. You can also format text as bold or italic with these buttons here. You can assign these formats to the text you have marked. You can insert bullets and format those as a list, for example, by using this button here. There is also ways to make text super or subscript. For example, CO2, you can use this button here and make the text subscript. There are also buttons for inserting links. So for example, with this chain icon here, I can insert a link, an external link by just typing in the link, or you can insert an internal link to another content page within the report by using this icon here. And here you can navigate through the report structure and, for example, adding a link to the employees page here. And with OK, the link will be applied. By using this icon here, remove link, you can remove the link again. There is also a possibility to insert special characters which are not available on the standard keyboard. So we have this icon here. By clicking this icon, we will get a selection of the most common special characters, which then can be just inserted by clicking on them. Yeah, we have also here an undo and a redo button. So if you want to undo some steps, you can do this by just clicking these icons here. As you can see, this system is quite straightforward. After finishing with editing, you can either save the page with this icon or this button here, or this icon here in the editing toolbar. And then all changes you have made will be applied to the page. Or you can cancel editing and all changes will be discarded. That's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, and the page now remains in its initial status. So I'm now going to the financial statements, because here we have a table, and tables are treated specially in our system. Tables will be synchronized by updating an Excel master document. So every content change to a table has to be done in the master document and needs to be uploaded into our CMS. Therefore, tables cannot be edited via the editing window. I'm now going back to the management report and would like to show you the next button here in the toolbar where it says history. So whenever you save a page, you will create a new version of that page, but the previous version will remain in the system. And this button here gives you access to our version control. The version control allows you to compare two versions of a page with each other. All changes between these two different versions will be marked in color. So I will demonstrate this to you right now. I'm going in the editing mode again. I'm now, for example, just changing the number here and adding a list again. And now I'm saving the page. So you can see that the changes I've made have been applied to that page. When I click now on compare versions, I get a visual overview of the changes I have made. I can also compare the current version with previous versions with this drop down here, where I can see when the version have been created. And you can also see here who has created this version. When there is a need to step back to a previous version for whatever reason, you can easily do this by clicking the checkout button here, and the page will be restored in the selected version. I will do this right now. That takes some time, and as you can see, the list is gone and the text is now in its previous state again. All right, the next button here gives you direct connection to our ticket system. We use the ticket system for an easy and efficient communication throughout the reporting process. For every issue our clients cannot do by themselves, for example, a change of number in graphics, or when they would like to have additional stylings, or even when they have layout issues in their browsers, you can write a ticket and we at nexxar can immediately start working on it. So if you click on new tickets, there in a new window, you will come to our ticket system. Tickets will always be assigned to specific pages, and with that direct connection from the CMS, as you can see, the page URL field is already filled out automatically with the page URL from where I click the button. Then it is important to create a meaningful headline and describe the issue as good as possible. So, example, change numbers in chart. Here is the headline, and here I can describe exactly what I want to have changed. Change number 100 to 102. For whatever reason, it's just to show you how it works. Whenever it is necessary, you can add screenshots or scans by using the Files button here. So you can add files to this ticket. And after pushing the create button here, the ticket will be automatically assigned to your project manager at nexxar. And when the issue of the ticket has been solved, the ticket will be updated with a comment and assigned back to the creator. We made really good experiences with this ticket system in our last reporting season, and all our clients which used the ticket system said that it was a really great way to deal with issues throughout the whole process. Okay, there is another button here in this administration toolbar where it says Create PDF. By clicking this button, a web PDF of the report will be generated. The PDF will be always created from the latest report contents in the CMS and therefore is always up to date, as Alexandra already mentioned. The PDF generation then takes a few minutes, and when it's finished, the PDF will be available on the transfer server for you to be downloaded. Okay, apart from what I've shown right now, we also have an interface to translation memory systems like SDL traders to make the translation process of the report far more efficient. And we are also constantly improving our CMS to make it even more user-friendly and add helpful features. We are currently working on a spell checker and a comment function. So the spell checker will help to find typos within the text, and the comment function will allow to create comments on pages for an efficient coordination between all project members. Yeah, that's it from my part so far. I will now hand over back to Alexandra. If there are any questions about our systems, I'm happy to address them at the end of our webinar. And as Alexandra already mentioned, you can either use the chat function or also contact us directly.
Okay. Thank you very much, Fritz, for showing us the report manager and the different options of the online CMS. So that leaves us basically to the end of our presentation. I would just like to briefly sum up the advantages of Online First. We see that this multi-channel approach is 100% focused on digital reporting. And also the different reporting formats are created from one single source, which reduces the effort when it comes to, for example, carrying out last-minute amendments. As you just saw, what Fritz did, do some changes in the CMS. So this is also possible for our clients. Our clients can get access to this CMS as well and do the changes themselves. As you just saw, it's very intuitive. It's a very intuitive editing interface, so nothing very hard to learn. And yeah, finally, the nexxar CMS offers, apart from this intuitive editing interface, it offers various other functions such as user rights management and version control. Yes, so we have basically reached the end of our presentation. Thank you very much for holding this webinar with me, Fritz. And of course, thank you to all participants for listening and staying with us. There is now the possibility to ask questions, and I saw that some questions have already come in via the chat function. So I see that the chat function has been used, which is nice. Yeah, so please continue to share our thoughts with us. I will now try to answer all of your questions, starting with the first one. Are there any best practice examples with, or any best practices with projects where the annual report is a combination of existing web content, e.g. sustainability, with an annual report? Actually, we do not have any Online First implementation of an integrated report like that. But we do have clients that we work for example, Bayer or German company BASF. So we work for these clients implementing the online report, which is an integrated report. But at the moment, there is no, or for us, there is no Online First example of an integrated report. Yeah, and then the next question, do you take care also of the graphic concept? Yes, exactly. So that's one thing that I wanted to explain at the beginning. So what we do is basically we take care of the first concept, of the graphic concept, of the content concept, and then we make the design and the layouts, And then we also implement the HTML framework, or we take care of the programming basically. So yes, if our clients want to, we are very happy to offer concept design and HTML implementation. I believe we have a very capable design team in house. Yeah, and we have a lot of projects as a good reference for our design work. Next question is, I have two more questions. I think we can answer them both. Next question is it also possible to create a printable PDF or only a web PDF? No, of course. It's also possible to create a printed PDF. But basically what happens here is we create the web PDF, and then we do some small amendments for the web PDF version. Some of them even by hand. Sometimes some InDesign work is required. So basically, it's just a few more modifications in order to make the web PDF print ready. For example, if we want to change a chapter entry page from a one-sided chapter entry page to a double page chapter entry page, then that's something that we can either adapt in framework or just adapt in the web PDF. But basically, the online first approach offers various reporting formats from the online report to the web PDF and print PDF, and also an iPad app or an Android app. Yes, and then the last question is if there is an interactive PDF available. At the moment, I believe we have no project where we implemented an interactive PDF, but theoretically, I don't see why it wouldn't be possible. Or Fritz, do you have anything to say to that?
I mean, the web PDFs we create are somehow also interactive. So, for example, when there are links in the online report, the links also remain in the PDF. So when you link, so when you open the PDF in your browser and then you have the links in the PDF, you can click on them and then you will come directly to the page where the link in the online report is included, but within the PDF. So the links within the online report also are within the PDF, so they can stay. And there can also be some special elements integrated into the PDF. So for example, when you would like to have a register on the right-hand side or at the top of the page, this can also be linked so that you can easily click on the register in the PDF and you will come to that section. And also the table of contents, for example, can be linked. So having this in mind, you can say that this is already an interactive PDF, what we create as for a web PDF.
Okay, thank you very much, Fritz. We have another question here. How long does the process take from the start to go live? Well, on the one hand, this depends a bit on the complexity of the concept, but basically, I believe we can say that for the first time programming, we would take 4 to 5 weeks. And then also maybe the concept and design phase would take up to 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how complex the project is. So basically, every first implementation with a client will definitely take longer because it comes down to finding a perfect concept and design for this project. And also it's the first time that the project needs to be programmed and set up in HTML. We can do faster as well, which we also proved with one of our clients, Holcim. It was the fastest report so far. It's not an online first approach, but there we made it from the first concept idea to go live in 3 weeks, I believe. Yes. So it's possible, but not always. But the actual content implementation is very fast. So once everything is set up and yeah, we have all the content received, then the tables take a bit more time, like a few days, or setting up the table design 1 or 2 weeks maybe. But the actual content implementation works up to 24 to 48 hours. So that means from the moment we receive the final contents up until we put them into the CMS and style them, etc., just in 2 days, everything is done. Okay. So if there are no more questions, or maybe there are some, just wait one more second. But if you have any other questions, as you can see on this last page here, you can always contact me or your corresponding project manager at nexxar. And obviously, you can also write to our general office address, office@nexxar.com. So we're happy to answer any other questions that you might have after this webinar. And please remember that there will be a recording on the webinar available soon. And we will upload everything and send you a link as soon as the recording is online. So yeah, and we also received a compliment in the end. Cool and informative presentation. Thank you very much. It's nice to hear. So have a nice day, everybody, and see you at the next webinar. Goodbye.
Goodbye.